So unfortunately, the cycle continues. My son is in 6th grade, and the poor gym teacher recently, who was a male, had to have a conversation with the entire group. That the conversation basically went something like, ladies, you need to put away your smelly perfumes and Bath and Body Works products because you're giving us all headaches. If you want to smell good, wear deodorant.
But what's funny about that, even deodorant, like traditional deodorant, again, has so many fragrances in them that really are messing with our body. And then if you think about it, you're putting it right on lymph nodes, like, worst thing you could do. So we might have to have a whole nother podcast just about natural deodorant.
Welcome to the Poppin Podcast, where Meg and Heather share their love for oils, friendship, and entrepreneurship. Let's get it poppin'.
Hey everyone, this is Meg.
Hi there, this is Heather.
And we are the Poppin Podcast. So Heather, what are we popping open today?
We are popping open a conversation to smell good or not smell good.
What a weird conversation topic.
Okay, let's rephrase that. To be smelling good in a healthy way or to be smelling good in a synthetic way? How about there?
I love it. That's much more specific, makes it a little bit clearer. And for those who still aren't catching on, what we're talking about is really making your own perfumes based off of essential oils versus using just traditional perfumes.
So out of curiosity, were you a big perfume user in the past?
100%. So in college, actually before college, I worked for Victoria's Secret. And, they've got a whole fragrance section. And so there's really 2 Victoria's Secret perfumes that were like my signature quote scent. And I love them. And so many friends knew these were my scents as well. And so I loved perfume and loved having something that was my signature scent. So it's just funny that was truly a part of my identity. Like I claimed it as part of my identity to now be somebody who's like, no perfume. How about you? Were you ever a perfume person?
I did enjoy perfume. I definitely had a shelf with, let's say, 6 to 8 different scents on them. I think I was a little bit more of a variety user. I don't know that I ever had a signature scent. What I did really enjoy was the very scented store of Bath and Body Works, and I had quite a few scented lotions and body washes. When I moved to Texas and got a job in physical therapy, the clinic that I worked in was an environmental clinic, meaning that she had a lot of patients that had environmental issues and they could not tolerate scents. And so even way before I was ever really into essential oils, I had kind of gotten away from scents back then, just because we weren't allowed to wear them at work. And so I just kind of stopped wearing them altogether. They started to feel really strong when I was around them. I still had my whole collection, never got rid of it right away, but I wasn't using it anymore. And over time of not using it, I realized that if I was around somebody that was heavily scented, I immediately started to get a headache, or I'd kind of get almost, allergy symptoms might be a bad word, but my throat would kind of feel itchy or hurt. My eyes would feel irritated. And I definitely started to recognize that my body did not like to be around those strong scents like that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny how our bodies adjust, because I definitely feel that way now. And we should probably talk about why it is that people feel that. So perfumes, traditional perfumes, are made with fragrances, which fragrances are not the same as essential oils. They tend to be synthetic, so made up of some type of chemical constituent. And then those chemical constituents end up being endocrine disruptors, just really disrupting our health in different ways. And I think when you haven't fully detoxed from that, you're so used to always having a cough when you wake up in the morning, or some little symptom that doesn't feel like a big deal until you detox and no longer have that. And then you get around something that is messing with your body's chemistry, and then you really feel it. And so that's one of the things. If you wear perfume every day, you probably are somewhat desensitized to it. Doesn't mean it's not messing with your body. It's just that you assume this is normal versus this is actually your body reacting to something.
So unfortunately, the cycle continues. My son is in 6th grade, and the poor gym teacher recently, who was a male, had to have a conversation with the entire group. That the conversation basically went something like, ladies, you need to put away your smelly perfumes and Bath and Body Works products because you're giving us all headaches. If you want to smell good, wear deodorant.
But what's funny about that, even deodorant, like traditional deodorant, again, has so many fragrances in them that really are messing with our body. And then if you think about it, you're putting it right on lymph nodes, like, worst thing you could do. So we might have to have a whole nother podcast just about natural deodorant. But perfume today. So let's talk about what we use as perfume now, or pure fume.
Yes, pure fume is what you'll kind of hear that referred to now. Mm-hmm. I am still not necessarily a big scent wearer from the direction of signature scent. Just became not my thing, so never really pursued that. That said, I am applying a lot of oils regularly, daily, and so I probably do have some sort of scent about me that I don't even recognize. We've talked about how when I'm wearing In Tune, lots of people will compliment the way that I smell. I definitely am not choosing that one as a perfume.
Right.
But if I do want to smell a little bit specifically for maybe date night or something like that, there are a couple of things that I primarily reach for. One of the ones that I absolutely love doing is Citrus Bloom. And when it came out in a roller bottle option, I was really excited because it is easy to apply versus straight out of the bottle.
And I will say with Citrus Bloom, that is one that I reach for as well. And I did not realize this, but when I started doing it, I don't remember, it was 21 or 22, but it was around the time that it came out and you could buy it regularly. But it was also around the time that like COVID restrictions were lifted. And so we could be around people. And I would wear it often when I did networking events with other women. And I would always get comments on like, oh, you smell so good. But from an emotional standpoint, it is, I think, the oil of connection. And so it was kind of cool to wear it, like, because it smells pretty and it makes me feel good, but also it helped me connect with people, women specifically. And so kind of added benefit of using essential oils that have these layers of benefits, including emotional benefits like that.
I like that. And especially if I'm wearing it for date night too, that connectivity is still really good there as well. And this morning, just kind of playing around with different scents that I had brought up for this conversation, I ended up combining Citrus Bloom with Neroli, which Neroli is another favorite if I'm going for a single oil perfume. And together, it smells really, really nice. And Neroli is kind of like that sensuality oil to me. And so combining it with that connectivity, I feel like that's the perfect date night combination in my mind.
Seriously. Yeah. And it has to smell good because neroli comes from, the citrus plant, orange as well. So yeah. Nice. I like that combo. And so that's really key. One of the things Heather said that maybe you didn't pick up on if you haven't thought about it before, but with essential oils, you can layer them on top of each other. And when it's already in the roller bottle, it's really easy to do that. So it's not like she had to go mix the two in a separate bottle and go through all those extra steps, but you literally can just one on top of another and then create your own scent like that.
So do you have a single oil, not a blend, but a single oil that you use?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure I do, like sometimes, but again, not necessarily as perfume, but like I'll put, anytime I'm going to be speaking in public, I will put spearmint on. So I guess like that's a single oil that now smells like me because I'm putting it literally on my throat because it helps with confident speaking. I should probably do that before we record these now that I'm thinking about that, but I don't.
Next time.
But yeah, I'm not necessarily putting that on for the purpose of a scent so much as for the medicinal help that it does, and
so let's talk.
Help.
Sorry. So let's talk a little bit about the heaviness of these scents. So with perfume, there's a lot of people that apply way too much to begin with, but some people are misters. They'll spray it and walk through it, right? And so it does stay on you for a decent amount of time. But the thing with natural products like essential oils, you kind of do have to either apply it more regularly or pick a strong combination of things. For instance, where I'm going with that is undiluted rose is very strong. I can put 1 drop of undiluted rose on my wrist and hours later, it is still there. In fact, the scent profile seems to change over the hours that it's on. It almost sweetens itself over time. That said, the citrus bloom and the neroli I put on an hour and a half ago, I still smell it. Maybe it's because I'm getting used to it on my own skin. I'd be curious if others could smell it around me. So it may have started to kind of calm itself a little bit. So if I was going to be out for a long time, I would probably just travel with both of the bottles so that I could freshen up and reapply if I needed to.
Yeah. And I do think certain oils last longer, like rose specifically. So I've got a roller bottle right here that was originally Rose Touch, but I made my own perfume. And side tip, if you do this, definitely write down what you put in it, because I have no clue what I put in it and I love it and I would love to remake it. But it has pure oil in it pure rose oil. So I probably did like max 5 drops of that. And I know it's got sandalwood in it because I love that. And I don't know what else I have in it. But this, I do know for sure I added fractionated coconut oil to top it off. But this, I love the way it smells. And for sure, when I wear it, it lasts significantly longer than other oils. But I think if it didn't have that rose in there, it would not last as long.
Do you happen to know how many total drops of oils that you put in there?
No clue. Like, I don't even know what oils. I know I've got those 2 in it. I don't know what else I put in here. So definitely write it down.
So I actually found some recipes in the Modern Essentials book. They had a perfume section. And so I've got at least a little bit of information to share if somebody was wanting to create their own. Again, you can kind of just go with an option like citrus bloom. That's an easy just choice. And then you don't have to worry about it. And you could layer it with single floral oils like I did neroli. That's fine too. Honestly, the other one that I really like doing is cheer. I feel like it just kind of is a little bit of a uplifting scent. And so I will use this one as perfume sometimes too. But if, let's say you wanted to make your own. So a simple perfume base, again, this is from the Modern Essentials book. You can do 5 milliliters of some sort of pure grain alcohol, vodka, Everclear, something like that, or they sell perfumer's alcohol. Or you could do 5 milliliters of jojoba oil and then 15 drops of essential oil, depending on what kind of oil combination that you were looking for. If you're somebody that prefers a solid perfume base, you could do 1 teaspoon of beeswax pellets, melt those down kind of double broiler style. And then you do a tablespoon of jojoba. You could do a drop or 2 of vitamin E oil in there, and then 15 drops of essential oil. So they had a couple of combinations to choose from. One is called Romance. It's 5 drops of ylang ylang, 4 of clary sage, 4 of sandalwood, and 2 of lemongrass. There's one called Rose Bliss, which is 6 drops rose, 3 geranium, 3 sandalwood, 2 lemon, and 1 coriander. Or there's something called Oriental Nights, which is 7 drops of frankincense, 5 drops of a fir oil of your choice, and then 3 drops of wild orange. And if you were doing the liquid perfume base, you would just mix all those ingredients together and probably put it in like a 5 ml bottle. If you were doing the solid base, then you would mix those in after you've melted down the beeswax pellets. Then they also suggested if you wanted to make more of the eau de toilette, where you spray it and kind of walk through, you could add another 5 ml of water. So then you just put it in a bigger bottle, but that would just lighten it a little bit too.
I love that. I love that there are specific directions, like use jojoba instead of the fractionated coconut oil, like I did with my rose perfume. And like exactly how much, like the 5 milliliters, like you said, or adding the water. But then you still have the freedom to pick your own oils to add to it. So, and one thing that I thought of while you were saying all that earlier, you asked me if there's a single oil that I use as a perfume. And when you said that, I was thinking like single oil versus oil blend. And so there are oil blends I use. One of them, when you said cheer, I use Motivate a lot, especially when I'm working or when I'm meeting a client, because Motivate helps me get my work done, but also smells really lovely. But another one is Malama, which I always hate talking about stuff like this because this is a limited time product, but this is a limited time product that doTERRA keeps on bringing back. So whenever Malama comes out, get it. It's so awesome. And I shared in a recent podcast that when I put Malama on, I have like this visualization that comes to me where it's like, it makes me feel like a queen. And every time I smell it, I feel like I'm like putting this crown on my head. And it smells so good and so feminine as well. But thinking about like making this into a perfume, instead of just using this straight, I could do the 5 milliliters of jojoba oil and then 15 drops of this, and it's going to last a lot longer, but probably smell for a lot longer as well. So I'm totally going to do that this afternoon.
Well, and even though I wasn't a huge perfume wearer all the time, what I did enjoy about perfumes was the beautiful bottles that they would come in. And so you can get perfume spray bottles that are just empty and then make them yourself. So Oil Life will have a good selection of stuff like that. And if you go on Oil Life and spend $25, you can save $5 by putting the code BPP at the end for checkout. That's our code for that. But you know, you can create your own and still have this beautiful collection of perfumes. You don't have to have the synthetic stuff to be able to replicate that.
I love that. And that tip is perfect timing as well, because this is coming out right before Valentine's Day. And so I don't know how many male listeners we have, but for female listeners, making this as a Galentine gift for your best girlfriends would be a really amazing gift to give them. So
that's fun.
Such a good tip. All right. Well, anything else on Perfumes?
I think you can have fun with this. I think you should kind of just get your favorite oils together and experiment. Honestly, a lot of times if I'm curious if an oil will go with another oil, I will take the lid off of both of them. And I've got 2 roller bottles here, but you could do this with open bottles too. And just kind of, ooh, I like this combination too. You could just pass them back and forth below your nose, and it'll just kind of give you an idea if you like that scent profile together. So for anybody that's watching, if you're wondering, I did Citrus Bloom and Blue Lotus right here.
Ooh.
And this smells like another good combination.
Awesome. Okay. Very cool. Well, we hope that you have enjoyed this podcast. I'm really excited to go make my own perfume after listening to this. I hope you feel the same way, and definitely share this with your friends if you think they would be interested. Maybe even put together a girls' night and bring a few friends together and like have a perfume night. That would be really fun. So thank you so much for listening. We'll have a brand new episode for you next Friday.
Thanks for tuning in. For more information, you can follow these bottle poppin' ladies at bottlepoppinpodcast.com. Tune in next week to learn about what bottle we're poppin'. Until next time, take care. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This podcast is not intended to treat, diagnose, cure, or prevent any disease.